The Beat 139 featuring Doc, Don Vito, and Keith Cash. Harlem's #1 show.
Yo, what up? What's good?
Yeah.
Wednesday, what the deal?
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Beat 139. I'm Doc and Shake the Block.
Don Vito, voice for the peoples. Came down a little while ago. I was like, damn, feel like we ain't been in the studio in a minute, man, because we doing all kind of other things. Like, this is where it all started.
100%. This is the baby. Gotta always take care of this. This make everything.
Yeah, this opened the doors for everything that the Beat 139 got going on. So we got our first guest for the night. You know, good brother from Harlem, know him very well. Family, you know. His name is Billy Counselor. Billy, what's good, man? What's up, Billy? What's going on, man? How you doing, man? I ain't seen you in a minute, man, but been hearing a lot of great things about you, you know. But before we get into all those great things, man, tell the viewers, because our viewers is from all over. They ain't just from Harlem. We got them calling from Canada. We got them calling from Miami. Got them calling from California, Europe. They tuning all over the place. So tell everybody where you from and, you know, what's your name and how was life growing up, man.
Billy Counsel. First of all, let me say thank you for having me, brothers.
Yes,
I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Give me the opportunity to, be on that platform. But Billy Counsel, born and raised in Harlem, New York, community activist, former college basketball coach, entrepreneur, restaurant owner, all type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's, you know, a little bit about me.
So you're original Harlem, man. You grew up in Harlem, man. Like, so you coming up as a kid, right, compared to now, what's the difference you see out there, man? Good and bad.
From the bad side and the good side, you know, unity was taken out of the community, right? We're no longer a village. Mm-hmm. Like we now working in silos, right? You know, so but growing up, when we was growing up, it was all up, right? You had your crime, you had your violence, but you know what? One of the things that we did, we had respect for our elders, right? We respect each other's, you know, areas, morals, you know what I mean? But the big thing about it, we were all in this one community.
That's right.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that I see that has been taken out of our community is the unity that we used to have, especially when I was growing up.
Right.
You know what I mean? We could hang out all night. Right. And if I see your moms or you see my moms and they needed some support, you taking them right upstairs. If I did something, you know what I mean? If I see your mother and I'm doing something crazy, I'm stopping because I don't want to embarrass my family. Right. So I think that's one of the things that we have, you know, lost in our community is that unity piece.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked you that because a lot of the brothers we had, you know, been coming up, you know, lately that's been from Harlem, you know, we hit them with that question. Everybody's saying thing like when your moms come around, whatever, we be like, hello, Miss Jones. You know what I'm saying? That was like automatic.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying it like that too. Because that's how we grew up, man. It's like right now it's like totally different. But so what was some of the things that you did growing up as far as like as a youngster coming up in Harlem? In our time,
you know what, like mine was a little bit different, right? And I think, you know, and I can finally admit it as I look back, you know, historically, is that, you know, we followed and we did what we saw in our community, right? So my dad was in the street, you know, God bless my mom. My mom was an addict, had a substance abuse issue. So it was one of those things where I just kind of fit in where I was able to fit in at, right? And, you know, most of my friends, you know, we stayed in the park and we played ball, right? So when you start when I was at that age, it was more so just being around your friends and your family and your block. And then as you get a little bit older, things changed a little bit for me. But, you know, I did that what everybody else did, right? You know, I stayed on the streets. You know, maybe dibbled and dabbled, selling drugs and stuff like that. Never going to glorify doing that or being a kingpin or anything like that in our community. But I think it was something that we all did, right? Yeah. You know, but for me, it was just a battle of just trying to be relevant, you know, growing up, right? Because that's everybody was doing something, you know what I mean? So that was a part of it.
Okay. So when did you start playing ball? What age?
I started, and Doc probably can remember. Well, Doc is a little bit older than me, man. But
I'm only like a year older. I'm only like a year older.
I think it was probably around 11. Small Fry.
Yeah,
You know, I think I started with Young Life. Right, Young Life was the organization.
You was with Mr. Thompson.
Yep.
I remember y'all.
And Leroy, and then Thurman.
Because y'all was in Yonkers, right?
It was from Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon, yeah.
It's from Mount Vernon.
I always thought you was from Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
I remember you was Young Life.
I was running with them at Young Life. I started playing probably about 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started playing ball around 10, 11. And then that's when I started moving around a little bit in the city. Yeah.
All right, so
you played with the Sonics too, right?
Yeah, I played with the Sonics.
You
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yep. I played with the Sonics.
Yeah.
yes, let's talk about that. No, because real talk.
Otis played with
y'all. Got a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Otis played with them. I remember.
Yeah. Oh, this say play a little, but I ain't believe it. No,
Yeah,
BK.
Kev Smith.
But
y'all
yeah.
gotta remember. But back then when we were younger, Otis was nice, right? When I was playing at Chico All Stars, you know what I mean. I wasn't that good.
Right.
You know what I mean. But you know, Otis kind of brought us to the championship.
The Sonics was uptown, right?
Yeah.
Otis, Kev played with y'all.
Kev Spence played. Yeah. But
Kev
was better than all of us.
Yeah, he's good.
Kev was nice.
Kev was nice.
Yeah, Kev was nice. Yeah, Kev was nice. Yeah.
That's a good old day. He said Chick All Stars. Damn, he took me back, man, with that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That was nice days, man. So coming from playing ball, one thing we do in Harlem, we get fly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, we get fly because we see, like you said, people older than us, and we become a product of our environment. So I don't want to move too fast, but when did you get interested in, like, you know, the party scene and stuff like that?
Oh man, the party scene. So a little bit about the party scene, and then we can take it back. But it was a fluke when we started throwing parties, right? It was me, Reggie, and Cornell and Latif, and we went to a party. I can't remember. I think it was the Grand. We went to the party, and we were standing outside. And you know, everybody that was in the party, once we got inside, we knew everybody.
Right.
So Reg came up with the idea, like, let's throw our own party. And I was like, all right. Remember, I'm the youngest one.
Right.
Like I was probably like, no lie, I was probably like 17. Right. And you know, that's how the birth of the parties and the Final Four had got started. Yeah.
Them parties are jumping.
What?
Yeah,
it was like them parties like unforgettable. Yeah, it was crazy. them things are jumping, man.
Yeah.
If Billy, you had the glasses back then, man.
Yeah, man. I
had the little joints, you know.
I ain't gonna lie. They had.
Yeah.
I ain't
Get the Gators, right?
Yeah, the Gators. Yeah.
The Final Four had, like, they was like had a lot of like girl fandom. They had a lot of girl fandom. They had a lot of girl fandom.
Yeah.
So, with a mixture of the basketball and getting into the party scene, right? How did that mold your life, man? Because you say you dipped and dabbed, you know, a little hustling here and there, but you ain't never did no time in that like that, right?
Nah, but you know, I think, you know, for me, the most interesting piece of that whole story, right, is even being in the streets. And as you know, we grew up in a time where, you know, at one point, you know, there was like murders like every other day. Somebody from every other crew was getting, you know, caught up in a situation. And then I wound up getting caught up in a situation where I got shot 6 times and left for dead.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, left for dead.
I remember, but yeah. Vaguely, now it's coming back. So what happened?
So
this is part of your story.
Yeah, so that's part of the story.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was it wasn't even an incident, you know, there was just, you know, me back then. I couldn't really like put my hand on why, right? But, you know, just to, you know, blanket the story a little bit, I was walking home with my 2 friends, Ray and Mike. And, you know, at this time, there was a little beef between Uptown and there was a beef between Downtown. And then people were, you know, getting killed. And, you know, my big mouth, you know, went and asked about somebody, you know, not on no rah-rah stuff, because everybody know I wasn't the tough guy, right? I was just one of the cool, fly, chill out guys. And, you know, I went home that next day. I went home that evening. And at this time we had beepers. right? So
right.
nobody really, I wasn't, so the funny thing is, I wasn't using the house phone. I would come downstairs. I had a pay phone right downstairs.
everybody had the
Yeah, I had the
payphone.
pay phone, right? So everybody knew that was
And
my
have a
pay
call
phone.
back.
Right.
I get, chick call me, call me at the pay phone at 8 o'clock, right? So I would be
They
at
got
the
a
phone.
number on there.
Right, they had the number, right? So
yeah.
everybody knew, all right, Billy come use the phone.
Right.
So that night, it was probably like 12:30 that night, I got a text, right, from a number that I would usually call, right? You know what I mean? But I didn't call that. I didn't go downstairs to call the number.
No.
Happened to, it was, the guy must have used the girl's code for me to come downstairs. But at the moment, I didn't come downstairs at all. I just was like, forget it.
Yeah.
So the next morning, my little sister Keena, right? Happy birthday to my twin sister Keena, man.
Happy birthday, Keena. Happy birthday. Many more.
So at that moment, me and her got into an argument for whatever reason, right? So, I always joke with her like she was the one that got me shot, right? It's a little family joke. We laugh about it now. Yeah. But she came downstairs and the guy was standing already in my building. So he asked her, hey, Billy, and my sister was like, oh yeah, she pointed like he's coming down on the A staircase. So as I'm coming down on the A staircase, he's coming upstairs. So as I turn the corner, he's right there in front of me. He just started shooting. Wow. You know what I mean? And then, kicked me. And, and I remember just hearing the gun jam, right? When he kicked me in my face, I heard I kept hearing the gun jam, and then he ran. So, I was, at that time, I couldn't see his face. And I just was laying on the ground and I was just screaming, and then my mom came out and, next thing you know, I was in Harlem Hospital. I was there for like 4.5 months. I had to learn how to eat, walk, use the bathroom. Yeah. 6 times, 3 in the stomach, back, arm, leg. I had to learn how to walk, talk, use the bathroom. You know what I mean? I had to do all of those mechanical things. You know what I mean? And so that's sort of like started put me on the path to a different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. That's life changing, man.
But it's crazy. I remember when it happened, it'd be rumors in the street. They was like, yo, dudes hating because over a girl. That's how I know. They was like, you were doing your numbers. You know what I'm saying? Right. You were doing your numbers. But I remember I was mad as hell when I heard that. I'm like, that's so corny. Like dudes doing that, like, but over a chick, like, we ain't doing that. Harlem, like, we don't do that, like, over no chick. Because somebody, people doing their thing, reputation, dudes, money. Then, like you said, then there's like, oh, you like pillow talking with a chick or some shit. Like, it's
they start making up stuff that it wasn't even there.
But it just it wasn't cool at all though. It was definitely wasn't warranted. But that's why God is good, because it ain't let you know what I'm saying, it happened. But that shit was whack. I wasn't feeling that at all.
Yeah, it was, what an interesting piece to it, man, because it was so many different stories going on. And and when hindsight, when you look back on things, it's like most of that stuff made no sense.
Make no sense.
Right? Made no sense, because they saying I was pillow talking. I wasn't even having relationships with the girl, so we hardly never spoke, right? Yeah. So I again, it was a little bit of this or that and whatever. So one thing I could say is, God left me here for a purpose, and you know what I mean.
So I was gonna jump on that too, because I'm looking at the story a little different. It's like, forget about the he say she say bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Your life was spared, man. Absolutely. I got hit one time, and it took me 14 months to recover. You got hit a few times, right? I don't know how long it took. Huh?
6 times.
6 times. I mean a few times, but it's 6 times, right? I don't know how long it took for you to recover, but your life.
6 months, right?
Huh?
He said 6 months, right?
No, but I'm gonna tell you like this.
No, but let me say what I'm saying though. If a person didn't know you, they wouldn't know that happened to you.
Right.
You look good.
Right.
You're moving good. Your mind is good. Your life is good. Like, everybody got stories, and sometimes you don't know. You know what I'm saying? 6 times is serious, man.
Yeah.
And for you to be standing tall, man, that's the Lord all day long, man. That's where I was going with that.
Then, but his sister had to witness it, and then you witness it in real time because you seen it. It's not like you was out. You said you were hearing the gun clicking and he kicking you in your face. So that's the part.
Because he wanted to give you more.
Yeah.
So that's the part about it, because you seeing it's not like you out and you don't remember nothing. You seen it, and then she hearing the shit. She just said he's right here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but two things. Let me
traumatized.
just go back to two things.
Mhm.
One, when you said how long it took me to heal,
Mhm.
to be honest with you, I'm still healing. Right. So one of the things, and we can get back to this later on as we come up, but one of the things when we talk about healing, we talking about, yeah, it took me 6 months to get the mechanicals back
That's what
together
I
and
meant,
still
yeah.
doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to deal with, learning those mechanicals. But guess what? We never thought about dealing with the trauma behind it.
Mhm.
That trauma was going to carry 20, 25 years further along.
Gotcha.
Right. So there are still days to this day that I still have that trauma.
Mhm.
So trauma just don't go away because the
Yeah.
physical, right? So
Right.
when you stand in the presence, right, you carry that.
Yeah.
Right. You're just like, I don't want nobody to see that I'm still going through that pain.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I
Gotcha.
think some of that stuff becomes like, psychology.
Mhm.
Like when you start just thinking about it in hindsight, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
still recovering from it.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just, that's
I
just the way
understand
it is.
100%. I did mean the mechanical, but you're right. The healing, the internal healing process, and the mental, that could be forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just deal with it the best way you can. All right. So, all right, Final Four start popping off, right? So that was killing the game. I was in college at the time,
Uh-huh.
and I was hearing about it, like, yo, they say, yo, Billy, you know what I mean? So did it open any doors? Even though y'all was a group, did it open any doors to make you think about doing other things?
To be honest with you, I have always had the mindset of wanting to always do more, right? Those was my brothers. Those, I was the youngest one, right? So, we sort of like it's interesting because we kind of like when we talk about crews, you had his crew, NFL, right? Then you had the best out, then you had the same gang, right? So we had all of these entities in Harlem that was trying to, get that main spot. Right. Get that main spot. And I never thought that from the parties that a lot of the relationships that I have now and some of the working relationships that I have now goes back to the parties, right? Because sometimes those relationships bring up the parties, what makes it easier to now to have a conversation.
Gotcha.
Right. So yeah, I think for me, it had always put me in a different room than some of my other brothers, right? And then nothing against them, but it was just like I wanted to go to a totally different room.
Your mindset was
Right.
different.
Yeah.
Because I can, like, I know every last one of y'all, and when I see each one of y'all individually, I got a different view and a different story because everybody went a different direction.
Right.
See what
It's
I'm
like,
talking
I honestly, I would say our story is sort of like, and I don't want to compare it, and people gonna be like, yo, Bill, you bugging. But if you think about the New Edition story, right? Like we started with one group, right? One group of individuals, right? And then that person left, and then we brought somebody else in.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
so
then
like, keep it
everybody
going,
started doing their own thing. Like
Yeah.
we used to call Otis the Bobby Brown of the crew, right? Because
Right.
you know what I mean? And that was always like how things were structured. But those were some of the best times that I had growing up, man. I was able to, you know what I mean, just be out and party and have a good time and really not thinking about anything. Like the brother Ted said, man, like I knew people who was giving us their rent money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just to come to the parties, right?
Or
You
get
know
a
what I
little
mean?
outfit or
Yeah,
something.
get a little outfit, so yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's funny
those
that
were
you
days.
mentioned New Edition because you're a big New Edition fan, man.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna take it.
Don't
I ain't gonna take it.
Don't tell nobody.
I ain't taking it. I ain't taking it. I ain't taking it. But
Hands down, I'm a big New Edition fan.
yeah, he get down. New Edition.
Yeah, I know all the dances.
Yeah, he got it, man. I mean, the way they do it on TV. One time we was at a function. They put that shit on. Billy took off. I said, hold up, nigga. I said, okay, Billy. He got that shit down pat. I'm telling you, man, that's his favorite group. Or one of them, right?
Yeah.
All day long, man.
They dope.
Yeah.
They dope.
Yeah, but
You ever been to a concert?
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, I'm saying now they older with the new shit.
Yeah. I've been to a few of them.
Yeah.
I've been to a few of them.
Yeah, that's his people.
Yeah.
He loved them. So all right, so your mechanics got better from after they going through that trauma situation, all that. So it changed your whole outlook on life.
Yeah.
With people, places, and things, pretty much.
Yeah. I think so. From there, so now as we go back, because I'm gonna take us on this journey, right? So when we talk about Final Four, right? Like I was always like in this vacuum, right, with Final Four, but I was always the individual who moved to a different beat, right? So during the Final Four, I wound up becoming the manager at the Shark Bar. Right. So So now that
original Shark Bar.
Yeah, the original Shark Bar, right? Like on 74th Street, right? Like you know, I was the manager there. And then, you know, opened up Mecca and all this other stuff with that group. But it was interesting as you was talking about going into a different direction after I left the Shark Bar. So now that's when you start meeting the celebrities, and that's when you start meeting everybody, because it was just like I was the guy that can get you a seat. Right. So
it was big to get a seat.
So yeah, so Bill, right? So like, yo, I got a few dollars for you to give me a seat. So, you know, that's how that started. And then from there, I still wanted to be in a hospitality restaurant thing. And then your cousin, which, you know, was my big brother to me, Will, came to me and said, yo, you know, I'm looking to open up a restaurant called Willie Michael Southern Cafe. So I did that, you know what I mean? But it's still in the premise of throwing the parties, right? So it was able, you know, I was able to galvanize the people, you know what I mean? So that was, you know, how I kind of like started to venture off and get into entertainment and then get into hospitality.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's what's up. That was nice. And what I see, now we're gonna get to you were on here before. We had your son. He had his business going on, and I see you got like a relationship with Cole Anthony.
Yeah, so Cole's like my son. Yeah, you know, him and my son is our best friends. My son manages his career.
Oh, your son is Cole Anthony manager?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's dope.
You know, they actually live together. They bought a house together out in Orlando. They live together. They peas in the pot, right? Yeah. You know, so that relationship came through my film, Little Ballers.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
So we came on the show before. We talked about Little Ballers.
Yeah,
and then your son soon.
Yeah.
His clothing line.
Yeah.
I still got my tight shirt.
Me too. Me too. I got mine too.
Yeah.
So you want to get into that? How that went?
Yeah, so, you know, for me, like basketball has always been my thing, right? Like after I got shot, you know, it was like, okay, trying to figure out where's my niche at, right? So I went back to what I love, and what I went back to was basketball. So when I went back to basketball, I started to create and coach these, you know, different programs. And I was the director of this program called Fast Break, which is on the Upper East Side. And Cole Anthony's mother came in, and we were just talking, and they was I think Cole was probably like 6, and my son probably was like even 7 or 8. And they just started practicing, right? And we wanted to develop an AAU program, right? So it was like, okay, Billy, can you put an AAU program for us, right? So I said, bet, right? But I wanted to live vicariously through my son, right? And let him do all the things that I didn't have the opportunity to do.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, we created this basketball team, and I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. And through this basketball team, you know, Cole's mom said to me, they was probably like in 5th grade. Cole's mom said, hey, do you have any footage of yourself? I said, no. She said, well, what I want to do, I want to get some footage of my son. I said, okay, no problem. Let's just, you know, throughout our year and a half, we were just, you know, flying all over the place, and we was playing basketball. And she came to me one day, and she was like, yo, listen, I got like 100. I think it was like 100 hours of footage. I want to put something together. She's a filmmaker, right? She did.
Oh, his mom's a filmmaker.
Yeah, mom's a filmmaker, an attorney. She did something, Dirty Laundry, with Patrick Ewing, ex-wife Rita Ewing. And,
oh wow!
And they did a book, and then it was a movie. And then she said, "I'm going to put this thing together," right? So she put this sizzle reel together, and you know, we looked at it, and it was like, "Oh, it was dope." So then she wound up taking it to a friend of hers at the time. She wasn't my friend yet, but Tammy and Lisa Bonner, who's another entertainment attorney, took it to them, and they was just like, okay, what can we do with this? So Tammy and Lisa, they both reached out respectfully. I think Tammy was representing Lupe Fiasco at the time, and then I think Lisa was representing Amar'E Stoudemire. So it came to fruition that Amar'E Stoudemire and Lupe Fiasco said, you know what, we'll put money behind it. Right. So they put money behind it. So we went into production to finish it, you know, which as you know, all the money goes into editing. Right. So we did that, and then we was trying to figure out a home for it. So then we wound up doing the film circuit, the film festival circuit, excuse me. We started to do that, and then Nickelodeon came along and was just like, we're starting a new sports series on Nickelodeon, right, called Nick Sports, and we want that to be the first premiere docu-series that comes out. So we did that, you know, was nominated for NAACP award, and then Nickelodeon was like, no, we need you, can you do another one for girls? So then we went back and wound up doing Little Ballers Indiana with Skylar Diggins, the WNBA basketball player. So that's how that whole fruition of Little Ballers came to fruition. Yeah,
that's dope. So the people who watching, because some people don't know, because I saw somebody say who Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony is in the NBA. He played for the Orlando Magic. His father is Greg Anthony, who used to play for the Knicks.
Yeah.
They're Cole kind of nice. He's doing his thing over there too.
Yeah. They're actually playing. They're actually playing right now. I was talking to them earlier, and they was just like, "Yo, they're playing Miami right now."
They're playing Miami. Yeah.
What I like about him,
got 150.
Yeah.
I like about him. He's very aggressive and he's fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's aggressive. He's fast. He plays defense. He got all around game. You know.
Yeah.
Play better than his pops and me, man.
Yeah. We always say, nah, he's better. Always tell my man.
Yeah, Greg was my man, but his pops, his son was nicer.
His pops was more of defender, scrappy.
Yeah.
Knocked down. Cole got more of a bag.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But Greg was solid.
Yeah.
Point
but that's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
You always want your ceiling, you know, your son's ceiling to be higher than yours, right?
Too bad, Bronny.
But Bronny, man.
Too bad, Bronny.
I you know, for me as a basketball coach, I see a lot of development and growth in Bronny, right? And I think a lot of the stuff is being overshadowed because he's not going to live up to his
definitely not
hype right now, right? But I think Bronny's a solid player. I think he's going to be good. I think, you know, once his dad retire and, you know what I mean, he do some two-way deals and he goes and play, you know, a little bit more, you know, in the G League. He get.
That's what they were saying. I'll give it a jump on. Hold on, one second. That's what they were saying, that he needs to go to the G League and play there for a little while and come back up.
Yeah,
like he's doing a disservice to the Lakers right now.
Yeah, I don't. I really want us to look at this real fast. You know, not to go too far left, but I don't really think he's doing a disservice to the Lakers. I think that's what it is, right? But when you talk about history and history from an African American led family, I think this is big, right? You know what I mean? I guarantee you guys he will go down to the G League, right? Because as a father and as a basketball savant that LeBron is going to say, I want you to continue to play and I need you to continue to develop. And then they're going to send him down to the G League. He's going to be a two-way
But he just wanted to make
it. Yeah.
But see, the Markin Pinot, but the thing is, like, I watched that. The thing what stands out to me, one thing I know, I watch tons of basketball. What's concerning to me, where I don't see what you see, he never was good at no level to me. Like, I watch in high school, he was like a role player in high school, only averaging a couple points. He was no big assist guy. He did nothing really great there. College, he didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing in summer league. So normally when you scouting, you normally something jumps out. High school level, it jumps out on you. You see certain things. I think he's not aggressive enough. You know, when he's not a point guard. He has the size of a point guard, and he don't have the mentality of a shooting guard to go like that. So in the G League, it's these guys, they going hard. So it's gonna be hard for him to really, because he never really done like, you know, like, damn, he dropped 30 or 20 something or like 10 dimes. He just like too laid back. Like I don't see it where.
I think to give grace to Bronny is like, how could you live up to that hype?
Not LeBron, but I don't see.
No. But like when we all look at it holistically, and you look at, you know, all the hype that's on this young man, he has more pressure right now than anybody else in that league.
Sure he does.
Right, because he is LeBron James Jr.
Yeah,
LeBron James' son. So I just think, you know, in due time, he's going to walk into his own shoes. He may not be a LeBron, right? But he's going to elevate his game a little bit more, and then he's going to be able to play at a solid level.
You know, everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah,
We wish him the best, man.
Yeah.
I wish him the best, but I just don't see
I
it.
like
I
young
have to
Melo,
be
man.
honest.
I like young Melo.
Melo's son is good.
I like young
Like
Melo.
some players you can
Young
see,
Melo's doing his thing.
but
Man.
some players
Nothing to take nothing against Brownie, but young Melo's
No,
is
Kanye, you know, I don't watch Kanye since he was
you
a kid.
can
Right?
just see it. Just like Gilbert Arenas' son. Some guys you could just see it jumps off you. I'd never seen it at no level, not even at the high school level.
Let me give you another thing. Kanye right now is I think 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". He's gonna grow another 2 inches.
Yeah.
Bronny like only 6'1", 6'2", right? So he didn't get that physicality
He didn't.
that his father got,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you know what I mean. There's a little bit different. Like when we go back to it, Greg didn't have the athleticism that Cole has,
not at all.
Nah, yeah,
right?
that-
And nobody would
No.
believe and Cole wasn't good until 8th grade,
yeah, but
right? So you know what I mean.
But
And
his
then
senior year, he was good. Cole
Senior-
Anthony, I seen him play. He was like that his senior year, 8th grade. But I didn't
Yeah.
see Bronny good at all. See, that's the thing I'm trying to say. Now I'm not trying to be. I'm just. I love scouting, and one thing I like to be honest. It's not knocking him. He got money anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not like what I'm saying going to hurt him financially. But like you said, Cole wasn't good in 8th grade. Cole was good 11th and 12th. I remember man, Mike Boogie, we saw him play. He's like, that's Greg Anthony's son right there. Because I'm like, damn, like he a beast. Like everybody you see at that level, at least was good in high school. I didn't even see him. I never seen him like
Gotta remember, Cole is a McDonald All-American, right?
Bronny's
Like,
McDonald, but he wasn't to me deserving
Remember,
to be
Cole
no
won the MVP.
McDonald's. Yeah.
McDonald All-American. Cole won
Yeah.
the MVP, right? So
Yeah.
Cole he's always been tough, right? But the game came easy to him, right?
Yeah.
Because he worked at it.
So it's safe. Okay, so let's do this, right? So it's safe to say that Cole Anthony, right, with the not so good dad, right? But then you got Bronny with the great dad. So Bronny just feels more pressure.
Yeah.
You know, because he's trying to live up. Even if he ain't trying to live up, the media is trying to live him up. And like he constantly got to hear this shit everywhere he go.
So
It could be intimidating to
But
him.
I
man.
don't think right now everybody know. Like he just said, no more. He don't have the size. He don't even have no resemblance of LeBron James.
Nah, he look like his mom.
So he looks just like his mom.
Yeah.
So I don't think nobody comparing him to LeBron James. That's already over with.
Yeah, they're not comparing.
People just
They're
want
saying
to
it's
see him
his
just to
son.
be a solid player, and nobody's seeing that.
Yeah,
That's the
and
thing.
again, it's a lot. There's a lot to it, right?
is.
You know what I mean? He
I
didn't
wish
really-
him well, though,
He
man.
didn't
You know?
really.
I wish him
I
well.
wish him well.
do the things that he would like to have done in college,
Yeah.
right? He didn't get that. What people don't realize, college is important,
Mhm.
especially on that level. So I think
Do you think LeBron is pushing him too fast?
I don't
I
think-
think so.
I-
Everybody think that.
I don't see again. From a father, you got to always think like all of us in here are dads. We want to see our son excel, right? We want to see our children get to the pinnacle level where they want to be. I'm here already. Now I want to see my son get there, and if I can give him a push a little bit, because I had to work 3 times harder than somebody else who had their dad, right? So I'm going to give him a little extra push, and if that extra push, because he got the last name James, will be so, right? Because our other counterparts, they do that all the time,
All the time.
right? So again, as basketball minds, where we got to look at it like, okay, we know a little bit more. That is a little bit more than basketball here, right? Because now they did something that no other person in the NBA has ever been able to do, right? Play with their child, right? So that's going down in the history books already.
Even if he don't get good, they
They
did
already
that.
made history. That's
Yeah,
why they
yeah,
played.
yeah,
He played
yeah.
3 minutes yesterday.
Yeah. I remember. I saw.
Yeah.
I watched it when they first introduced him and they came in and everybody's clapping and all that. So it's definitely history.
Because Ken Griffey, senior and junior, was that
Yeah.
thing.
So
You got every sport. Because you had hockey, you had a father and son, you had a father and son in baseball,
baseball. Yeah, now you have to follow son.
and
basketball.
football too.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah, football. Yeah,
Football's so hard.
Ken Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Son. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I ain't.
So, 'cause not watching you, but you know, when you was at the Cove, you know, and you was in charge of the Cove, you know, you had the operations and all that type of stuff. You know, I got wind that, you know, yo, Billy going for election. I said, for election? What you talking about? Yo, he dived into another little lane. So where did you get that energy from and keep it how you can keep it? Where did that thought pattern came from? Or that spiritual awakening come from?
I think I was always politically inclined, right? I was always someone who was interested in the political process, how that works, what it looks
Community
like.
and all
Yeah,
kinds of
community, right? You know, and it goes back to me getting shot, right? So just to, you know, I remember when I got shot and I was in the hospital, and I remember my mom was here, my grandmother was right here, and I was all, you know, bandaged up and, you know, IV and all this stuff, but I was coherent. I could hear, and I remember my grandmother saying, "Man, when this boy get pulled out of this, he better do whatever God's telling him to do." And at that moment, coming through that, I didn't know what that purpose was, right? And you know, so as we go back, I went into basketball, right, thinking that I'm saving these young people's lives, but really they were saving my life, right? They was putting me on another path. So I did basketball for almost 19, 20 years, won national championships, coach college on the college level, you know, have at least 10 guys playing in the NBA now. And it was just like, okay, Bill, you got to do a little bit more, right?
Gotcha.
Like this is not it,
Gotcha.
right? You know, you hit every dream and aspiration you wanted. You wanted to coach in high school. You coached in high school. You want to be an athletic director. You was an athletic director. You want to be a college coach. You want to build programs, right? So I did all of that stuff. So it's like, okay, what's next? I'm ready for the next challenge, right? But it has to be community driven.
Gotcha.
Have to be community led, right? So I remember COVID came, right? And I was in the house and I was just watching, you know, Cuomo, right? And that's like, from a political standpoint, Cuomo's like my idol. Like one of my idols, right?
And his dad.
Yeah, and his dad, right? But I was like, yo, I want to be a little bit more inclined on what's happening and how the laws are passed, how budgets work, how, you know, the community board, the community count, the police count, precinct council, how all of that stuff works. So I started to dive back into it, right? And I think at this time I was doing my undergrad, I was doing my grad, all right? I was going to get my master's, and I was like taking these courses online. Now I'm home, COVID, so I'm trying to figure it out. So once the first wave of COVID came, and I noticed that my community in Harlem was suffering, right? You know, so at that point, I used the platform that I had with Cove, and I hooked up with Street Corner Resources, Aisha Sekou, and I said, hey, listen, I want to give out gloves, I want to give out masks, I want to give out food, I want to give out all of this stuff just so we can start giving back to our community. So that was my birth, right? And I started doing that, you know, started giving that stuff out in front of Cove and start trying to, you know, be a vessel for service, right? But I didn't realize how much service I was doing when people would come to me and ask for resources, and I would find resources and give it to them, right? And it was just like, okay, all right, let's take this to another step, right? So at that time, a friend of mine, Ayana Harry, who is a reporter on News One, her and I were talking, and she said, Billy, you should run for office. So I was like, I'm not running for office. I don't know nothing about running for office. And I don't know too much about it, right? So
What office?
City Council in District 9. So she was just like, do it. She was like, you don't need to know what it's about. Just do it, right? And I think her mindset of telling me that was just like, get ahead, right? That's the problem with a lot of us in our community. We wait until we learn about something, and then when we learn about it, it's too late because the ship already passed.
Right.
So she told me, hey, yo, just try it. Just get into it. So then I started to reach out to individuals who I knew, and I just started to pick their brain. And, you know, when I was picking their brain, you know, a lot of these individuals wasn't from Harlem. Right. They were community leaders in other sectors of the city. Right. And they was just like, you know, you're going to have resistance. And I was just like, who's going to give Billy Council resistance in Harlem? Right. All the stuff that I have done and I do in our community. So that's how I was born. Yeah. That's how I really got into that political.
That's a small move you did, though.
1 second. You saying that seat, Council District 9, Where's District 9 located and who's sitting in that seat right now?
So District 9 in Harlem is Central Harlem. So it's local. So District 9 consists of 100 from 110th Street all the way up to 155th Street. So that's basically
That District 9.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
District 9. That's basically, as we all would know, the heart of Harlem. And that was the name, that was my campaign slogan, the heart of Harlem, because it was that District 9. So right now in that seat is my good brother Yusef Salaam from Exonerated 5. Yeah, he's
a good man. Yeah. Shout out to Yusef. He's definitely a friend. We did a lot of things with him this summer.
Ran. I remember, this for the people.
I ran 22, 21, 22. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I think you came on the show too.
Yeah, I think
With your son.
Yeah,
Right.
he did. Yeah, came on the show.
He did.
Yeah.
So like once you got to started building relations with people, you know, to pursue that next venture, one thing you said that was smart, and I listened. You said I started picking people's brains, but they was from different places.
Yeah.
Because if you pick people's brains that's from around here, they some of them gonna be resistant because they think you're gonna step on their toes.
I think
That's Harlem. It's a little funny like that sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's just human nature, right? You know, because when you look at the political circle, and especially in urban communities, a lot of individuals that's in those seats been in those seats forever, right? Because they become lifelong seats, right? Because nobody challenged anybody for those particular seats, right? And you know, sometimes when you see something new, or you see a fan favorite, or you see individuals who may respect a person, you may be like, nah, I'm not ready for that person to come and challenge me for this, right? So one of the reasons why I went somewhere else, because I always believe that when you gain knowledge of a particular area from people who are not in it, right, they give you a different perspective. Right. So now when I'm going to somebody that's in it, you giving me all of your everything, right? You giving me your hate, you giving me your you can't do it, or you should wait, or you need to do this. But if I go over there, oh yeah, you
Small
can do
move.
it. This is what I did. So I went and I started to talking to so many different individuals who was in city government and who had those seats, and learning about that whole process. Right. So now when I was able to come back to individuals, when I said I was running, they was like, yo, you don't belong in this room. And I said, okay, put me in the room. So when I came into the room with my own chair, and I sat down. I was like, I'm at this table. You can't tell me I can't leave. Right. So that's what I did. And I stayed at that table until they gave me the respect.
So how that works, okay, when you first put it in, like you running, is there a certain amount of support you need to get in there, to get in that circle?
So let's not even say the circle. So that room, not even a room, but to get there, first of all, it's like you got to say to yourself, look in the mirror and say, am I ready for this? Right? Because it was emotionally, physically, financially, it was draining and into a tax on your body. Right? So, you had to apply like anything else. Like not apply, but you have to register to be a candidate, right? So you got to go to New York City Votes, you got to go to the Campaign Finance Board, you got to do all that. You got to make sure. And I had business with the city from some of my nonprofits, so I had to dissolve some of that stuff to move forward. So that's how I really got in. And then I got a campaign manager, then I got a kitchen cabinet, then I got a board to kind of help me govern it, right? And try to figure out like, what do I need to do, right? And that was the start.
So you had to dissolve your council.
Yeah. So you don't really have to dissolve it. Yeah, my Council Him Foundation. You don't really have to dissolve it, but if you're on the board, you got to step off if you're getting city contracts.
Right.
Because you can't fund that.
Right. It's a conflict of interest. Right. So you know what I mean? So those are some of the things that I had to do. Right.
I was wondering what happened with that.
Yeah. So that becomes.
So that was doing nice.
Yeah. So that became one entity that I had to just make sure that we take care before moving forward.
So now you in the room and you just moving you had to do them things. That's cost, right?
Yeah. So now what happened now? Because it's all free. That's free.
That part free.
Raising money is the hard part. Right. So raising money is the hard part. And what I did was I asked, so there's something that's called matching funds for the city, right? So that means, so while New York City has matching funds, so it can encourage anybody to run, right? Somebody just out of high school, I want to run for office, right? You have the opportunity to do that. And what the city is saying is every dollar you raise, I'm going to match it with $8.
Right. Correct. That's
Right.
how it
So
goes.
anybody that lives in New York City that donated to my campaign,
Mhm.
if they gave me a $1,
Right.
the city matched it with
They
$8.
match it. Yes, they do.
Right. So for me, I well known, not just in certain areas, but I'm well known with people with money and all these other stuff. So I raised probably more money than anybody else that was running in that election for the time that I did. So now at that time, there were people that were running 2 years before I even got into the race. Right. So like right now, all the work that I'm doing, people say to me, "Oh, you running for something," right? And I am running for something. Am I officially running for something at the moment? No, but when you continue doing the work, right, and then when you open your campaign, then that's when you can start soliciting and raising money, right? So that's what I did. I kind of got into it probably like 5-6 months late than all the other candidates, and I was able to raise a significant amount of money to push me, right? Yeah, so that's what happened.
Okay, so who you ran against?
So at the time, I ran against who's now our Senator Clear, Cordell Clear.
Yeah, I remember the ballot.
Yeah, I ran against William Allen, and William Allen was a campaign manager for Yusef Salaam, helped Yusef Salaam get into office. Also the campaign manager for now, who's about to be elected, Jordan Wright, under the Assembly. So I ran against
Jordan Wright Assembly.
Yeah.
Assembly's under councilman, right?
Yeah. One a state, one a city. Yeah. So so I ran against some. So
when you jumped up on that ballot, did you expect to win, or you just wanted to started getting
your name out,
getting your position, getting your name out there, stuff like that?
Anytime I get into something, I expect to win. Okay. Right. I expect to win, right? Because I believe so much in my in my mission, my passion, my platform, right? So I did jump into winning, right?
So that was how many years ago?
About 3.
So you've been working since that?
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
So it's time.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, buddy. Get my vote, buddy. Let's go.
You said you got assemblyman, councilman, and things like. How many assemblymen? Because isn't Al Taylor assemblyman too, right?
Yeah. He's been assemblyman for a long time.
Be in Harlem?
It's different districts. Districts.
Different districts.
Different,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So you got the East Side, right? Then you got the 70th district. You got the 71st district. So it's just districts.
So Jordan is what? The 9th district.
No, 70th.
70th.
And what is Al Taylor?
Al is Esplanade. I think Al is 71 or 73. 71 or 73.
Yeah.
So it's the same.
Eddie Gibbs is on the East Side.
Right?
Yeah. So now the councilman, there's 51 council members, right? In New York City, right? So there's 51 of them.
51.
51.
Councilmen?
Yeah, councilmen. Yeah. So that's the body that makes up the city council, 51 seats.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so in Harlem, how many is 2?
So
in Harlem, you got 1, 2. Yeah, you got 2. 1. Yusef Salaam.
Yusef.
Oh, you still got the whole Harlem?
Yeah.
East Side too?
Yeah, there's no other councilman.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's no other. But the districts.
So with 51, so outside of Harlem,
so you got Queens, you got Queens, you got Washington Heights, you got Brooklyn, you got
Bronx,
downtown,
everything,
you got Staten Island. Every district has their own community.
Oh wow, I ain't know it's
community leader.
Yeah, so it's 51.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 51. Yeah, it's 51.
Because Riverdale. Spanish guy, right? Yeah, he got the district.
Who, Eddie Gibbs? So Eddie Gibbs is assembly person on the east side of Harlem.
Now we talking about Riverdale.
Oh, Riverdale. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Riverdale,
okay.
Yeah, because
that's the person you talked to, Ted?
Yeah, that's the one for that area. That's why we had to wait.
Yeah.
So all of those areas have city council. Right. So one of the things that I want all you guys to start looking at, look at the New York Charter. Right. The New York Charter breaks down our city government. Right. It breaks down from the city.
Pull that up, Jay. New York Charter.
Yeah, the New York Charter. So it breaks everything down. Right. It breaks down who's in charge of the city, what happens. So just when they was talking about Mayor Adams, right? And everybody was like, who's going to be the next person, right? So on the city charter, it shows you who's the next person, and which would be Jemani Williams.
Good information.
Wow, Jemani Williams is
yeah, Jemani Williams next.
Yeah, Jemani Williams is Jemani is the
community active.
No.
What's his title?
He is Jemani's the next. I come back to what his title.
Not the assistant mayor.
No. But if the mayor was to step down, Jemani was going to be the interim. Mayor.
Yeah.
Jemani. What's Jemani again, man?
Position, so that means the next time he runs, he gonna be running against the mayor, right? That's how that.
No,
not
necessarily.
He's not running.
No, not necessarily.
It's just his position.
So Jemani is the public advocate, right?
Public advocate.
So when you look at the charter, right? You have the mayor. Yeah.
Huh? Oh yeah.
No. Yeah. What's 340 pages?
The charter.
Oh, the charter.
Yeah, show it on the live. But
The charter, and it just breaks down.
That's I'm gonna get that information for you later.
So
I need to see that because I need to know what's going on. Because we moving in the beat 139. We moving all kind of ways too. With a lot of
the charter has like the public advocate, which is Jemani. Then you got the controller, right, and then it comes all the way down to the district attorneys and all of that other stuff. So the New York Charter breaks everything.
Yeah, we need to get that.
Yeah.
Jay, lock that in. We need to get that, man.
Yeah,
we need that because we moving in that lane a lot, and we dealing with a lot of people, and we need to see that list right there to see how the movement is going.
So Mark Levine, he's the borough president.
Yeah, so
borough president.
So in the charter, borough president.
Borough president.
Right. Yeah.
The whole Manhattan.
Yeah, so he has a whole Manhattan, and then you have your borough president in Brooklyn, your borough president in the Bronx, borough president in Staten Island.
Oh, he got it right there.
But by the way, right?
Yeah, so that's the
this is not Henny that Billy is drinking.
Oh,
okay. I got to put that in for him.
Iced tea.
That's iced tea, okay? All right, that's not Henny. My man running for office. Don't try to play him, all right? I don't want nobody snickering later. What was he drinking on the show? Iced tea, you understand?
We don't do no iced tea promotion, so
That's
he has
right.
to put it in the cup.
For the record, because people you don't know, man, people do all kind of stuff, especially when you're running for office, man. They dig up all kind of silly things, man. But all right,
So Old Smash, he's on the east side, right?
Yeah, so Old Smash ran at one point. He was running for district leader.
District leader.
Yeah, district leader. So when y'all look at that New York Charter, it'll break every break down.
So
every position.
There's no levels. It's just all.
Oh no, there's all levels.
but it's gonna let you know
it's all levels,
the
right?
position.
So for example, you look at Kathy Hochul, right? Kathy Hochul is the governor of New York State, the whole state.
She's the biggest.
She's the governor, right? And then New York City has Mayor Adams. Right, so then
it's like a cabinet kind of.
Yeah, it's like a cabinet,
Like
but it just breaks down, right? Because
yeah.
even when you do that, Governor Hochul has her deputy director, her deputy governor, right, and then the mayor has his deputy, his deputies, right? So it breaks down like that, and then
like a cabinet system.
Even the
power down.
Even the borough presidents, they have deputies.
Yeah.
They have deputy borough presidents, right? So those are the things that we got to really
start
studying. Then we understand how the community board stuff works.
So what is the lowest like the entry level?
I don't really think it's really no entry.
Trying to run that
because anybody.
Think about it.
I'm sending you to run.
That's what I'm talking about. That's right.
Because
Don Vito coming, baby.
I think anybody can go in, right? You know what I mean? But there is levels. There is different state levels of volunteer. Some of these positions are volunteer positions, right? Some of these positions are volunteer, but they crucial, right? Like district leader. District leader
is big.
Yeah, it's big, and that's a non-paid position.
The district leader.
That's it.
Who district leader of our district?
It could be William Allen.
Oh,
right,
William Allen district leader.
William
For a
Allen
while.
district leader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al Taylor been for a while too.
Al Taylor Assemblyman.
I know, but
Assemblyman.
he's been that position for a while. He had no.
Yeah, so all of that stuff. So when you guys get a chance, right?
Yeah, we're gonna check that out.
Yeah, check out the New York City Charter.
Yeah, I like to see that.
That breaks everything down for you, right? You're gonna see positions up there like, yo, what does this position do?
Yeah.
Right, but not realizing like this position is important. Like people don't realize one position that's really important, right, is the community board chair.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you know this is how our local businesses run, right? Because even when we go on to get a liquor license, right, you got to go to the community board to get approved.
You need to know who it is too,
right? So those are the things that we forget. So we can talk about this whole political thing for the rest of the night, truthfully, because I think it's important.
Yeah. Oh, very important. That's what we talk about it on the regular. That's why I said I wanted to get that chart, because that chart gonna be very helpful. You know. All right, so. I want you to start talking about some
call
things.
in
646-628-4264. If y'all want to ask my man Billy Council some questions, you know, you got some interest in this interview, call in 646-628-4264. Billy, check this out, right? Because we say this so much, you get tongue twisted. So let the people that's watching the show know, far as like, how you feel about the election, man.
Which election?
This election coming up.
But when we say
let's go with the presidents.
Okay. So when we talk about the president election, right? You know, again, I support Colin.
Okay.
VP Harris. Right. And I like for me, I want to break it down simple, right? I don't want to get into the policies because a lot of when I start talking about that, it turns people off, right? So for me, I think this election right here comes down between love and hate. Right, you have someone who's preaching love, right, and bringing our community together. This brings back to what we're talking about, like what happened in our community. Then you have someone who is advocating for hate, right, advocating for destruction in our communities, right. And then there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there, right, that we need to, you know, really look at it and say that's not true, right. So I think, you know, for me, VP Harris is the right person who can lead us back to that, right? And I think with President Trump, former President Trump, we find ourselves fighting against nothing but lies and scrutiny, you know what I mean, towards, you know, others, right? So when we talk about hate, like he's spilling hate. Like if I lose this election, it's going to be bloodshed, right? Let's really think about that, right? So when we sit there and we talk about like, you know, I hear some young brothers talking to me about I had more money, right? And I was gonna bring that up. He gave us more money in stimulus, right? When we really look at it, he didn't give us money in stimulus. The House gave us money in stimulus, right? Right. What he did was because he was the commander in chief. What he said is, hold up, let me sign those checks. So from a marketing perspective, he did exactly. A lot of us are doing exactly what he wanted us to do. Believe that he gave us money when he didn't, because we got to look at how our government is set up. Trump no president can do anything without the House or the Senate passing it.
Correct.
Right. So even right now, when people sit there and say Barack didn't do too much, you got to remember at the time Barack didn't have the House or the Senate.
Right.
Republicans. So Republicans had it. So okay. So now we're gonna tie your hands. So even right now, if VP Harris wins, right, we have 34 Senate seats open. We have 51 House seats open. We have 11 governor seats open, right? So now let's just say hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, she wins, right? But we don't really go back. We don't vote for the right people. We lose the House. We lose the Senate. Guess what? Her hands is tied, and she's just another black woman.
She's powerless.
Right. She's powerless.
Correct.
Right. So we have to start educating ourselves on this whole political process and how it really works, and stop like feeding from information that we're getting from these media outlets.
We're the only country that operates like that. Any other country, whoever the president is, whatever they say is what it is. Over here, we got to go through the House. So if you could be a Democratic president, but be a Republican House, they're going to block everything you try to put out. And that's what they did with Obama.
Right.
Obama tried a lot of stuff, and they was blocking him. He only got the things off that he could get off without going through them. But a lot of things he had to go through them with, I remember it 100%. They was blocking him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you think the United States is ready for a woman president?
As I look at it now, I think, and I'm gonna be transparent, I think United States, we're still bigots and hypocrites, right? Because everything that we had to do, and I'm just gonna talk specifically about black families, black communities, right? And I'm talking directly to us, right? Everything that we do, we fed on the backbone of a woman.
Of course.
Right? On the backbone of a woman.
We came from
right?
a woman.
Right? Most of us who grew up with single mothers, right, kind of paved the way for us in whatever area that we're in.
Yeah.
Right? When we talk about white America, right, there is still racism in our country today. Right?
100%.
So is America ready for a black president? A black woman president? Absolutely not. But we wasn't at the time. We didn't think we was ready for a black president.
Correct.
Right. So for me, I think one of the things that we got to really look at it, who is best going to serve us? Who has our best interest in heart? Right. So when we talk about Project 25, right, I hear a lot of brothers talking about Trump this and Trump that and Trump this and Trump that. But none of us really read that 991 page Project 25. Right. So we took out some of the snapshots of it. Right. So when you look at it, trying to get rid of the Department of Education, right? So matter of fact, getting rid of the Department of Education, who are being served in the Department of Education more? Black and brown individuals. So who's that going to affect?
Us.
That's going to affect us, right? When we talk about taxes, yeah, he gonna cut the taxes, but he gonna cut taxes for those individuals that's in the 1 or 2%. Right? That is not going to really affect us. Right? So now here's the other thing. Most of our family members, right, are blue collar workers who are in unions. He's talking about removing the unions. Right? But then it was something that came out. So now check this out. Let's how we bring this together. He says that I'm going to cut taxes on overtime. Right? Okay. Oh, fine. He gonna cut taxes on overtime. But check this out. If he takes the union away, right? The union protects how many hours you work, right? So now you may not get overtime because now there's no union. You may have to work 11 hours.
Right. And that's it.
Right? So now then we got the Roe versus Wade, right? You got the women's choice. So you're going to actually abolish that? Right? You're going to take women's rights from us?
The abortion, right?
Right. Yeah.
The abortion, yeah, that's crazy.
Right. So, but here is the thing. Now we look at it, and all of us got brothers, we got sisters, we got daughters, right? We're basically saying it may not affect us right now, right? But if I have a 12-year-old daughter, right, in the next 6 years, her rights, her women's rights is taken away.
Correct.
Right. So when we start looking at some of his policies and some of the things in Project 25, it will tell you. But yet and still, we want to sit there and say that I want to vote for this person because I had more money than I had when this person was.
That's the only thing they say. Everybody knows say they're going to vote for Trump. It was money in the streets. When Trump was here, it was money in the streets. It was money in the streets. Like money is everything. Money is a lot, but money ain't everything. You understand? It's a lot of things going on, man, that's bigger than money. Money is just a resource. It's not the source.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can't be always chasing money. Because when you chase money, you're gonna crash.
Right.
You got to do things, and you already know money gonna come because of what you're doing, the value you have, the spirit that you have, the drive that you have, the good business that you're doing. You already know money's gonna come. But everybody's saying, I ain't had nobody say nothing else, but Trump would say money in the street. I'm voting for Trump. Right. I mean, you don't really know too much what's going on.
Right.
So the conversation is over.
Yeah. And let's look at the, January 6th. And
it's a lot.
Right. You know what I mean? So
convictions.
Right.
Come on, man. All of these things.
So all of these things, when we really look at it and then think about some of the stuff that, and this is to my brothers, like, let's just think about some things here, man. when he sat there and says, you know, and I don't want to quote, but when he sat there and he said, when he got arrested and convicted, and he said, basically, black people should vote for me because, hey, I've been arrested just like y'all.
Come on, man.
That's crazy.
Come on.
Right? Maybe not in those
crazy.
words, right?
Yeah,
but that's what it was.
That's what it was.
But yet and still, we still yelling and
That
screaming
ain't
like
racist.
Trump, right? So it's just like, if you know that if you know somebody that you're about to go work for is a straight out racist, will you want to go work for him?
No.
Did you think he's straight up racist?
He says it. So hold on. Let me just. So yesterday, I hosted an event for 200 students, right? High school students. Me and I moderated a conversation with Dr. Yusef Salaam, exonerated father. Let's think about this, right? Let's think about this. So, right, while we having this conversation, we're talking about Trump, right? We're talking about a man who, all of us grew up in Harlem, basically our age, right? Saying that these young men who was falsely accused, he said they should all be put to death. Yeah. And he took out so that's not a racist. And he never apologized. And then a few weeks ago on the debate, he came back and said some negative things about them again. And now that's why they're suing him. So come on, guys, we're looking dead in our face. Somebody that looked like us, somebody that's in our, yeah.
Straight up. Yusef, when they was at the debate, whatever, and they was all in the lobby, Yusef came over there and he said, you know who I am? And he's like, nah. He said, I'm Yusef Salaam. Trump looked at him like, you know what I'm saying? Yusef approached him straight up. Look what I'm doing now. I'm city council. Same one you said should have been put to death.
Yeah.
And then he walked away from him straight up. Yeah, Trump is a foul dude, man.
Yeah.
They just had him on the news the other day. They still bringing that up right now. They had it on the news, the whole thing from back then and everything.
So when we look at when we look at it, guys, this is why when I first started, I said I really don't want to get into the policy piece to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about humanity.
That's right.
Let's just talk about our humanity. Our country is already divided. We already dividing between each other. Now we're going to throw more fire on that gasoline and say, you know what? This is the person that we want to lead our country. Mm-hmm. This is the person who actually said, my idol is Hitler. Hitler? So now if you look at Hitler, dictatorship, Putin, dictatorship, this is who he wants to be.
And the dude from North Korea.
Yeah, and this is, yeah. And this is
Russia.
Right, and this is who we want.
And I'm saying, no, Putin for Russia and his man is dude from North Korea. Kim Jong, both of them dudes is tyrants, man.
But this is who we say, right? This is who we say. People in our community who are really not educated on it, right? Who listen to TikTok and do all of that other stuff without fact checking and getting down and doing the research. I just want us to do the research. I don't never tell nobody, yo, V, you got to vote for Kalama. Yo, you got to vote for Kalama. Do the research.
Do the research.
And if she can't, if none of that stuff aligns to you, right? Yeah. Because here, it's not about Republican and Democrat, right? Because here, I'm going to hit you with this. Most of us probably vote Democratic, but we live Republican, right? The difference between Republican wants for self, right? Democrats want
for the people.
No, to share. Right? So it's like, V, you make $5 million, right? Mm-hmm. But you, as a Republican, you don't want to share your $5 million with those individuals who don't want to even get a job. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like when you start really looking at it, look at it from that perspective. And that's why, one of the things I always say is let's try to have these conversations where we giving out simple facts, right? Because we can sit here and talk about policies and legislation and law 17, like we can do all of that. But right then, some of our listeners may not understand, and that turns them off. Mm-hmm. So for me, I want to give you basic. I want you to understand why and what will be the ramifications if we go a different direction. But if you feel that works for you, then that works for you.
And you just made a good point. In this way that I vote. I'm voting, matter of fact, Saturday, 26th. Y'all vote the 26th. If you ain't vote by mail, I live in New Jersey. I don't know how it's in New York, but the voting box is open October 26th. I'm going in on the 26th. But check this out. I grew up Democrat, but what I'm trying to say is that when you vote, you vote for the best person for the job. That's how you vote. The person you see the best person fit for the job is how you should vote.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Even if we give that, one of the things that we got to give is we got to do research, and we got to do.
That's what I'm saying. Right? Once you do your research,
so people,
then you take it from there.
The interesting thing, people are looking at this presidential election, right? But now we have to really look at the ballot on the president on that ticket, right? We don't really talk about the judicial system, right, and the judges that's on those ballots, because a lot of us don't know. We just go in there and we just check boxes and we just run. Through all that. You got to go through all that. This is why civic engagement is really important. So when you having these conversations, for prime example, the one thing when we talk about the criminal justice system, it doesn't work for us. Guess what, y'all? Let's stop blaming it doesn't work for us. Because when we get jury duty notice, what we do? We find a way to get out of it.
I'm getting out of that.
I'm getting out of that, right? But now you may be on a jury that can save somebody's life.
100%.
Right? Yeah. So when we start talking about civic engagement, let's sit there and say, you know what? What am I doing? Right? It's 2 minutes when we talk about gentrification in our community. Right? When it's time for the community board meetings, we don't see a lot of us.
No.
It'd be a lot of them. Right? Because people want to know what's happening in the community where they live.
So you're saying that people ain't showing enough interest?
No. So when we talk about voting, right? When we talk about voting, it's like I can sit here and we can sit here all acts in your town in Jersey, right? Who is a county clerk?
I don't know.
Right. Who's right? See, right? Who's the judge? Right.
I don't know.
Right. See, these are the things that we don't know. And then, again, for me, I don't know all of it.
Yeah.
Right. But these are the things that we have to start doing to educate ourselves, to understand the process and understand why.
Yeah. I don't know because I just lived it.
Right.
But I understand what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense. But it's two things that got a problem with Trump. Real talk. Outside of all other things that he got going on. All right. I'm voting Camilla. I'm letting y'all know that 100%, whether you like it or not. I did my research, like you said. Well, hear me out. The 34 convictions in the storming the White House thing, I can't let that slide, man. Storming your own White House, man. That was a real nasty scene, and the whole world saw that, man. Like the United States, they ain't together.
Everybody saw the Rodney King beating.
Right.
Right. So it's like what you see is not always what they see.
Right.
Right. So we look at it totally different. Right. Because if that was say Barack, right, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, they'll see it then.
Right, they'll see it then. Right. So
let's keep
no
it
matter
real,
what
man.
no matter what you say, like we're starting to be a minority in our country. Right. You talk about the migrants that's coming over to our community, right? Like our country has been built on the back of immigrants.
Correct.
Right? We know that there's a certain way that we need to do that. But for you to sit there and say, if I get into president, everybody that came over here has got to go back. Right? America's supposed to be the home of the free, home of the brave. We're supposed to welcome everybody. Everybody wants to come here. But we have a leader who's saying, now, y'all need to go back. Why? And there's some people say, they're taking our jobs. They taking what jobs? Jobs that we didn't want to do anyway?
They saying it different than that. Let's keep it tall. They said they're taking black jobs. What you mean black jobs? I'm looking at the news. They talking about they taking black jobs. That's what Trump said.
But we can't identify
so that's what we do?
Is.
That's what blacks is good for? That's crazy. Did you watch that YouTube doc, did you see when he was in Atlanta and he talked to the panel of women?
Nah, I see.
You see that, Cash?
Yeah.
He spoke to the panel of women and he said something about black jobs, right? Didn't he say that? And that lady said, so what you mean? What you consider, what's a black job? And then he tried to clean it up and stuff like that. The dude is a racist, man. I don't care what you say. Because he hung around rappers and did all that other stuff. He was just trying to, you hang around because these dudes was getting money and he was just around them. But behind the back of his head, you could tell he's a racist, man. Because he makes snide remarks all the time, man. He's a racist, man. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need him to get another 4 years. Number 4, right? Can't go no more, right?
Yeah,
You got 4, right? Come on, man. So y'all got to vote. Voting is very important, man.
Yeah, man, and not just for this presidential election. Like we really, really got to vote.
Then you got to get on that chart, right?
We got to vote in our local elections, right? Because our local elections is what govern our city right now. It makes it's the part that really counts for us, right?
That's
Whether,
more.
yeah.
I'm more tuned.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
That's
you
more
got it.
direct hit.
That's a direct hit,
100%.
right? But here was the deal: like we're not even coming out in local elections, right? Here's the other piece to it. A lot of people don't even believe in electoral process anymore, right? They don't really think it works. They don't really think that it works for them, right? And again, it doesn't work, right? Someone think when you go in office today, tomorrow everything's gonna change, right? So you think about it. I remember when I was running for office, I had to speak to 20 different people in one day, and all 20 of them individuals had different issues, right? And then you got to remember, everything has to get approved, right? Even when it comes down to funding, right? Right? And even when it comes down to passing a law, going to legislation, all of that stuff has to get passed. So it can sit on somebody's desk for a year before somebody even look at it, right?
So when you was running, did they supply you with an office space?
No. So being that I was running, all of that stuff had to come out of my campaign. So I had to raise money for all of that stuff.
Oh, for office space.
Yeah. If I wanted the office space, which my office space at the time I was using Cove, but you have to pay for everything. The city doesn't give you anything until you are in a seat, and once you're in the seat, they will help.
Then they fund the space.
They will help, right? You will have money for office.
Yeah, because I see people with different
storefronts,
people with
because those storefronts, especially local elections, those
Yusef.
storefronts are for individuals, families who need to come in, people who need to come in to get resources. You got to have resources in that.
You got to have a place.
But a lot of times you have to do roll call, and you have to be at City Hall, and you'll spend a lot of time at City Hall, right? Because once you go into office, you will be a part of a committee, right? So you have public safety, right? You have finance, you have education. Everybody has a different subcommittee. Yeah.
Yeah, because I see that a lot of time. I see a lot of people, like you said, Yusef and different people. I know Aisha not in the office, but I see she had like storefront space.
Yeah, so you got to remember, she's a 501c3, right? So she has a space, right? So anybody can you guys have a space, right? Whether you guys really deal with the county and the town, you guys have a space. So now
we don't got no space in the city.
No, I'm talking about here, like this space right here, right? So if you're going to do something, this is your space that you do it, right? Now if you win, now that's a different story.
Oh, you get funded.
Yeah.
So you running? It's not this year. It's next year. When is it?
I don't know yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know yet, but
because I gotta check the balance. But I'm just saying though, everybody's every 4 years. What I'm trying to say. Some people every 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, some people 2 years. Yeah, some people are 2 years.
So the district people is every 2 years.
Yeah, every 2 years.
That's what I'm saying.
The district and the councilman, everything's 2 years.
2 years, right? And then others 4, right?
Yeah.
The mayor's 4.
Yeah, the mayor's 4.
Councilman is 2 years.
Yeah.
District leaders 2 years.
And senator too is 2 years, right?
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
Everything 2
everything
years,
2 years.
except like the president's stuff.
Yeah.
So when that works, it's like a deadline you have to put in your hat in, right?
Yeah. So it all depends, right? So just say hypothetically, I'm running in 25, right? I should have been campaigning now to raise funds, right? Because a
year ahead of time.
A year
It's not up. That seat name was 26, right?
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, not 25.
Yeah, 26. Like
Yeah.
20, 25.
But they just got in. Yusef just got in 24.
Yeah, so
January
25. 25 is the New York City mayor.
The
election.
mayor.
The mayor.
Yeah.
But
So
26
Senators is 26, right?
Yeah. But see, you got to remember, every year, every seat may fluctuate,
Right.
right? Because of the term limits,
Right.
right? That term may be for 2 years, right? So now that term is for 2 years. Somebody else came into a seat prior to that, so they only have a 1 year, right? So it fluctuates, right? That's why we have so many open seats now in Senate and in the House.
Yeah, because if nobody run against you, you don't have to run.
Now you don't got to run.
Yeah, Cordell said she had to run because nobody ran against her.
No, you still got to run, right? You still got to get your name on the ballot, right? You still got to do the petition. You still got to go through all the legality pieces to it, right? But if no one wins, but see that's what happens, right? We get in these seats, people get into these seats, and then no one challenges those seats, so then they stay in those seats for years and years and years and years. Yeah, shout out to Senator Claire, who's doing a lot of phenomenal work in our community.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, she's everywhere. Yeah. So that's okay. Y'all got some good information today. This is like a very important interview, right? We had to get some serious
nobody called
stuff,
in.
dealing
Y'all
with
want to call in 646-628-4264.
they want to call in when we talking that drama stuff, when we talking that political stuff. Ain't nobody got to say. Y'all got to step up.
646-628-4264.
But fill the people in with what's next for you that you can disclose.
Oh yeah. So again, for me, it's more about being civically engaged, right? I started this initiative called Sunday Dinner, because I realized that there was a space needed for Black men to come together to support one another and start having these open dialogues and talk about our mental health and really have this conversation about therapy and dealing with childhood trauma, right? Because as we move forward, broken boys become broken men, right? And then what happened is those broken men go back and try to teach our boys, and then everybody is broken, right? So we have to start taking accountability what happens in our community and what happens with ourselves, right? So when I talked about me getting shot, right? I talked about rehabilitation, rehabbing my body, my strength and all of that, but I didn't deal with the psychological trauma that I had to endure, right? Because I didn't know how. So if you all look at it, when we were younger, don't talk to that, that's his crazy cousin, right? But today, like, we're all going through trauma, right? There's things that happen to us that, we perpetuate in relationships, right? And we perpetuate in the work environment, right? Because we didn't deal with it, right? One of the things about men, what we do is we going through something, right? And we say, you know what? I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna deal with it. We don't want to talk to our lady, right? Because maybe they don't really understand, right? And maybe we think they may see us as weak, right? So that becomes an issue, right? We can't go to our man sometimes because sometimes our man is like, man, don't worry about that, man. Let's go out and get a drink.
They cut you short.
They cut you short, right? Like when I lost the election, all my friends that I had, I'm proud of you, but don't worry about it, you get it next time. Or maybe, right, but didn't realize, I was so depressed and I was so down, but I couldn't talk to nobody because nobody really understood. My lady understood, right? Because she was getting beat up, right? Emotionally, because a person couldn't be available, right? But still then, you still don't want to have those conversations, right? Because it makes you feel away. So you can really think about it. All of us sitting in here, right? How many times that we're really going through something and we can really say, yo, doc, I'm going through this, right? Yo, doc, right now, I'm cool. You're going to say you're cool, but you're not probably going to say, yo, you know what? Yo, V, y'all don't have no money to pay my bills anymore. Like, yo, I got to go to the doctor. I've never been to the doctor. You know what I mean? We don't really have those conversations.
A dude said to me the other day, yo, V, you all right, man? I forgot what he was asking me for. You all right? Because I was in deep thought. I said, yeah, I'm good. All is well. I said, if I really told this dude that I wasn't all right, is he really concerned about if I'm all right? Or you just saying like on, because routine.
It's protocol.
Yeah, protocol. Are you really for me if I said, because you used to me saying, yeah, I'm good. But what if I tell you I'm not good? You got me?
Yeah, you got me.
You sure you got you know? So like that's why I get that what you're saying. A lot of people say things, but they don't really mean what they be saying.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but
They
sometimes
don't really mean what they be saying.
when we say
they say that, brother, that's
yeah.
when you say that word, brother, I don't even like that word.
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like
me
it.
neither. That's just
I don't like
too
that word, brother.
I hate that. I hate it.
That's pump faking.
Right? Because no matter what,
Pump faking.
when we look at it, so let me give you a prime example, right? I have to tell somebody the other day. I said, yo, my brother, what I need you to do, I need you to schedule pleasure. Right? I need you to schedule pleasure because pain gonna take care of itself. The pain is gonna come.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, the pain is gonna come.
Right.
We fight so much to try to find pleasure, but we keep finding pain. Right? So when we talk about, like, when we start talking about helping one another and supporting, when you look at online and you look at women, y'all probably have wives, girlfriends, they all got girl days. They all doing something special, right?
Right.
But when we get together, we don't have conversations about stuff that really matters.
Yeah,
so I wanted to create this space, but but I don't want the
days
surface conversation. So Sunday dinner, no. But see, here's the caveat to it. Sunday dinner is not Sunday, it's Sunday. SON, because everybody at that dinner is a son.
It's a son, right?
You may not be a mother, you may not be a brother, you may not be a father.
Online or it's at a place,
it's in person. It's a location. We sit down, we have intimate dinner, and we talk about issues that's plaguing us. Right? We talk about issues that we need help with, so we can support one another. So I usually will have a QHP, which is a qualified health professional, whether it's a therapist, a social worker, to kind of like guide the conversations and be like, yo, you know what, brother? Maybe you do need to see a therapist. Because men, sometimes we say, I don't want to see a therapist. Like, I'm not going to talk to nobody about my problems, but you got to think about it. We have so much toxic trauma, build up trauma in us right now that it's like, yo, I want to get it out. How do I get that out? Because then every day what we do is, right, as men, we all put this mask on our face, right? Like somebody said, yo, Bill, I always see you, it's good together, right? But I got my suit on, I got everything, and I'm smiling, I look good on pictures, and I'm right. But yet and still, when you open me up, it's like, yo, you don't realize I'm dealing with this trauma over here. You know, I'm dealing with this emotional baggage from, about the, I lost my mom, right? We don't talk about that. So when y'all really sit here and we sitting up and y'all sitting upstairs and y'all talking, just really think about it. Yo, bro, V, are you really all right? Like, yo, what's happening?
Why you don't like the word brother?
Huh?
Why you don't like the word
because
brother?
I don't like the brother, like I don't like the word king and queen, right? Because we don't take that serious. It becomes like the word love, right? Here's the thing with the word love for me, right? Yo, they always say, love your neighbor, right? So tell your neighbor you love them. But do we act on love?
Right.
Do we treat that person with love?
Right.
Do we treat that person with kindness? Do we treat that person with admiration? Right? So when we say, yo, my brother, I love you, right? All right. What that really mean? I couldn't eat yesterday and I asked you for a few dollars, you didn't have it, but you went out with a chick.
Right.
But you love me.
That's the worst thing right there.
Right.
Like, you can't tell me that, and then, like you said, that's true, brother. But like you said, you went with a chick, a random chick. It's not like
so his man. Hold on, let's double back.
It's a scenario.
Right. No. What you said was real. Right. So, yo, my brother, I'm a little twisted right now. Need something to eat. But you song and dance me. Want to want to get a drink or some hookah or something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever case may be. Bam.
Got it.
So that brother thing is
you can throw out money to a chick, but you wouldn't throw out a random chick. Now I ain't even counting your wife and nothing like that. I'm just saying some random joint.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But leave your brother behind.
Leave your brother behind. Crazy. Right. And you know what? And let me just tell you something. This is a true story. True story.
I need to come to that table one day.
Yeah, it's a true story.
See, I clean up a little.
Now we all need to go.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you about Sunday dinner. So I had a Sunday dinner, and I had someone sitting there, young brother, in tears, crying. Right? He said, "I just lost my brother." Right? My brother got killed because of me. Right? Like I had something to do with that. And I can't do nothing. He had nothing to do with it. He didn't even know what was happening. Right, just right. So now, and he's in tears, like you're talking about
Yeah,
tears.
yeah.
And when he walked away, he was like, I needed that. So we had another one where a young brother was talking about, we did it on Father's Day, right? My son and I hosted this one on Father's Day, and we had about 25 brothers and they, and their sons. And it was just like, yo, I didn't have a relationship with my father.
Mm-hmm.
But then he called me afterwards. He was like, yo, I'm in the relationship with my dad. Right. So then when we start talking about
healing power.
Yeah, when we talk about brothers, like we talk about brothers standing up and supporting one another, let's support each other besides going out to the party, besides going out and talking about chicks. Let's really have a conversation. Because if I have a conversation with you and I'm telling you my deepest pain, and then now you feel like I can tell my deepest pain, and then now you're looking over there at Fresh, and he's the therapist, and he said, yo, you know what, brother? I'm gonna give you 10 free sessions for counseling, just to come.
Yeah.
Right. So now we talk about domestic violence, right? When we do that, like brothers is angry, brothers is mad. This is how domestic violence starts. Right. But now if you get somebody that can circumvent that and help you through that process, help you talk to your lady a little bit different, how to kind of listen to her a little bit. I have those issues, right? I don't listen, right? Because I feel as men, we feel that we have to be right, right? So I think is a lot of times that we have to start moving with a different key of love.
You're right, but see, the thing is, I think the worst thing somebody could do, you have to be honest with each other. If I'm your homeboy, or it's girls, whoever, not just men on men, women on women, whoever, as someone your friend, you should be straight up with them. You shouldn't have to lie and BS with them. You should be straight up, like you said, with your pain. You shouldn't have to feel, or let's say like your finances not there. You shouldn't have to pump fake like you this, but you messed up where maybe I can help you or he might can help you. You know what I'm saying?
So here's two things, right? Then let's look at it from what V said, right? We are taught as men growing up, right, to suppress everything, right? Because it's our responsibility to be the head and take care of everything, right? So let me give you a prime example. What happens when you take your son to the doctor and he get a shot and he start crying, right? But the first thing you say, yo, man up. Man up. But now when you got your daughter,
you ain't saying that. You
hug her. Yo, it's gonna be okay.
You gonna hug her in a
Don't
second.
worry.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
So
you
now,
ain't doing all that.
So now when we leave it, so now just say we in relationships with our ladies, right? We leaving to go on a business trip, and we telling our son, you the man of the house. Take care of mommy. Right. So now we put this burden on them that they have to be this. And emotionally, they not ready, right? You know why they ain't ready? Because none of us gave them the emotional palate to be ready. But then we want to blame it on society. Now, we haven't taught our young men how to be men, how to be vulnerable. How, if you're going through it, you're going through it. But we also got to be able to be the recipient of it and say, you know what, I'm here, brother, and let's talk about it. Let's have these conversations.
But you know how you right with that? We was in I think PA. Bowling, was it the bowling somewhere? Little boy had it about like 7. Blah, fell. It was hard. It was like, oh, like how hard it was. Oh shit! It's like, he all right. Dude, crying like, he all right. The father come, he all right. And picked him up. That's true. Like,
Shorty all scraped up and all
he
that.
was straight.
Talking about
He was loud. He wasn't.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
He's like, he all right. The little boy was crying like crazy. He's like, he all right. He just walked slow. He ain't rushed to him. And like picked him up. He came. He's like, he all right. Like,
but what's wrong embracing it? Because it's pain.
Yeah.
Right. It's pain. We all got to go through pain.
Hug Shorty, man.
Right. Like somebody get hurt, you cry. That's an emotional feeling. Let it be okay. Like somebody, when my mom died, I was speaking on the podcast. Somebody was like, yo, be strong, be tough. Nah, how you gonna tell me to be tough? And I just lost my mom.
Strong, just do it.
Like I can't be
strong,
tough.
Be tough.
Right, be tough.
Yo.
Like this is a misconception that we got to get rid of in the Black community with men. Like really think about it. Like here's something else that you think about, right? When you talk about support. I remember I was graduating from college, right? And I was trying to tell my boys, yo, I want to have a party, graduation, whatever. But my man came home from jail.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we giving him a big party,
Right.
So, and I'm not saying we not happy that he's here, but why we couldn't celebrate me too?
Right.
Because I did something good.
That's
Yo,
good. Hate,
right?
that's hating.
Yo, I remember my
Right.
nephews in this no bull crap, and they younger crowd, his crowd, literally a dude. They did literally about the same amount of time. The dude, I forgot his name. He did like 2 years. He came from the army. He did like 2 years, and he was just home for whatever time. And the dude, they came home like a day apart. They came home a day apart, and you wouldn't even know he came home from the army or nothing.
Right.
The other dude came home. Yo, it was like a thing.
Yeah.
A big thing, and it's crazy. My nephew was like, "Yo, it's crazy because." He said, "Yo, I'm talking to him, and it's like a badge of honor with him." He peeped it, and this all they was young. This is probably like 7, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He peeped it.
But you see how it is as men, how we have to change the narrative, right? You know what I mean? We have to change the narrative about what it is to be a black man that is vulnerable.
So, let me ask you a question. So, you got the
Sunday dinner.
Sunday dinner. So, are you trying to market it any type of way, like branch out with it, or just gonna keep it personal?
No, so Sunday
you
dinner.
want to make it bigger than what it is?
Yeah, Sunday dinner is an initiative that my goal is to take this all over, right? Because I think we don't have issues here in our community, but there's other brothers who have it, right? So my goal is to make it chapters, right? You have Atlanta chapter, you have a Chicago chapter, you have a Houston chapter.
Would you be interested in filming it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think
because I'm listening to you, right? Because I'm a visual person. I do a lot of things hands-on, but I'm visual. And I'm saying, dang, this shit sounds very good. I can see this on film, right? I can see it on film. You see all these reality TV shows, and you see many dots, right? I can see this on film, and maybe on YouTube or VH1 or one of them channels, right? Because ain't nothing out there like that. On Oprah channel, where they show these type of, not like that, but they show discussions, right? And people getting interested in it, and it's just growing globally because it's on film globally.
Yeah. But one of the things one of the things for me
after you do your
it's important that you keep the authenticity of things, right? So sometimes we do things and we water it down because we want this and want that. For me, I don't do none of this stuff for money, right? I do it for the love of people and service, right? I definitely want to do that, but one of the things that I want us to really look at is, will we really be vulnerable? Will we really be honest? You know how hard it is for somebody to be honest to their lady sometimes when it comes down to how they feeling? Like really think about it, right? So imagine sitting here and you got to tell your deepest secret that nobody knows, but it's eating you up inside, right? That doesn't come easy for men, right? Because we have an image, we have an ego, we have all of this stuff, right? Women get together, they talk about everything. We all in a group chat.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? They tell everything.
They do.
Right. But now it's like if you get something happen with you and your lady, you're like, that's personal. You ain't telling V. That's your man. You ain't telling V. And you like, yo, right? So I just think with Sunday dinner, the platform for me was more so like, let's be real. So if you're not going to be real, right? I talked about me being molested as a kid. I talked about all of that, right? Because I think it opens it up for us to sit there and say, you know what, yo, he going through that.
It's a healing thing.
It's healing. So when we heal and we start healing each other, guess what we can do? We can start healing our community. And when we start healing our community, we can put that unity back into the community. Right? But if we don't start healing ourselves, there's no way in the world our community is going to have the resources they have, right? And then we're going to lose our women because now our women are sitting there like, yo, I need you to talk to me. And sometimes they don't really understand and they feel they do, but they don't.
This another thing, that, we talking about this men opening up, right? Like a lot of the mental stuff that's going on, like in society today, are people snapping, punching people for no reason, pushing people on the trains, all that stuff, because they got a lot of stuff built up inside and it overwhelms them. They do something and they probably don't mean to do it. Your platform, I'm gonna call it a platform, your personal event with people that you invite, they can release that and it can calm them down a little bit. But when you ain't got nobody to talk to or release it, you never know what you might do with that. And then you wake up like, damn,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to
So-
do that. How'd I do that? Because you just so traumatized mentally.
So I got how often you have this event, and also we have an event November 10th, right? We have an event.
Nick.
Go ahead, Cash. You can explain it. Go ahead.
Well, we have a men's retreat here in Harlem. We invite like-minded men, you know what I'm saying, to come together so we can talk about our wrongs, our rights, talk about things that's going on in the community, how we can build on the community.
Spa
Ask
day.
question, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You talk on the mic so they can hear you.
It's a spa day too as well.
Go ahead, Cash. Go ahead.
You know?
Yeah. So it's November.
You on the just take it because you're blocking the camera.
It ain't on.
Oh, all right.
This one on?
Because we want the people to hear in case they want to join. Now you don't have to film it, Cash. Talk on the mic.
No, I'm on the live.
Oh, you're on live. Oh, yeah. So so we have go ahead. You can explain to people if I can hear you.
Yeah, so we put together something. Us at the beat 139, we put together something, a spa day that we're gonna have a men's retreat here in Harlem on 119th Street and 7th Avenue. And we all just sat down and we thought about what we was gonna do. We're gonna come there. We put together a situation where it's gonna be a package for $199. There's gonna be different things that we're gonna institute. We're gonna do massages, foot detox, ab situation, teeth whitening. What else?
The facials.
Facials. We're gonna have professional peoples do it, but it's just gonna be men, no women.
Yeah, just
Us
men.
building.
Men don't do that.
Right.
And
You
you was
know?
definitely somebody that I was thinking about inviting even before I knew you was coming on the show.
For sure.
And I had no idea about this Sunday situation.
Yeah.
But I would definitely like to attend your Sunday situation as
Gotcha.
well.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Like a woman.
So hold
you
on, Cash.
spa
Say the
day?
date. Hold
Real
on.
easy.
The date.
It's
The
November. It's November 10th. November 10th. From
That's a
4,
Sunday,
from
right?
4 on a Sunday from 4 o'clock to 7.
Okay.
4 to 7.
November 10th, 4 to 7, people. If you're in the New York area, or if you be Connecticut, if you want to ride down here, take a nice ride. November 10th, 119th, 7th Avenue. You could DM us at the beat 139_Harlem or Keith Cash.
Keith Cash. Keith
Give me the
Cash.
Instagram.
Yeah, my Instagram is Keith Cash, KEITHCASH 2. And this is going to be
And
at
you could DM him.
Opulence Spa on 119th Street and 7th Avenue.
Or you can
But you
email
could
us at
DM
thebeat139@gmail.com.
For more
Beat139@gmail.com.
For more details, you could definitely do that right there. The Instagram, the Gmail, November 10th, Sunday, November 10th, 4 to 7.
All right. So, Billy, before you go, right, is there anything else you want to let the people know about that we haven't touched on?
Nah, I think no. Yes.
Come on, brother.
So now, if you're in the New York area, right, listen up. Our last day to register to vote is October 26th. That is our last day to vote. So you'll be able to vote in this upcoming election. 2, let's make sure that we start getting out for early voting. Let's make sure we start educating ourselves on the candidates. We can look on. You can go inside Vote NYC. You can get all the candidates. You can get the ballot. You can do your research, and you can start understanding, what's at stake. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. So before you go again, can you tell them what's the #1 podcast show in Harlem, my brother?
The Beat 139.
The Beat 139, y'all know what it is.
Hold on.
What's up? Talk to me,
Hold
baby.
on. I gotta give another shout out to my favorite girl right now. That's my little sister, Markina. Today is her birthday.
Happy
I wanna
birthday,
say
Keena.
Happy birthday to
Happy
her.
birthday, Keena.
I love her to pieces, man.
And before you go, I got to give a shout out, man, to Mama E, man. Come on, you mentioned Mama E, man. Mama E, how you doing, Mama E?
Mama E is
All
my
day, Mama E got is long lasting, man. Ain't
Yes.
she?
Yes. Again, fellas, I want to thank
Yo,
y'all.
Billy, man,
for-
always
You
a
already
pleasure
know
to
what
see
it
you,
is.
man. When you come through, you always come through with that good information, man. You know, we family, man.
Don Vito and Keith Cash.